Okay, Nelly, why don't you start us off?
Well, I lost the document.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
Okay.
I found it. Lost and found. Okay,
Okay, great.
good. So I came up with a little different twist on something we've been talking about before. And it came from actually looking at some difficult places I get into in my relationship with my wife. And it almost felt like being caught in a script, like for a play, that this was my script, this was my role, this is how I related, and that it was like I was stuck. Now I'm not always stuck, but I just started to play in my mind with this word scripts.
It seems like the shift is a little bit, we often use the word story or, like this is our story, and I'm sticking to it kind of thing, stuck in a story. But when you talked about it as a script, it seems like it's a little bit more of a neutral term, or there's something in it that, like, you're in it, you're saying the words, but it's not as, I don't know, there is something more neutral about it. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm not sure it felt that way, but I'm glad it was perceived that way by you. Um, and but it's, yeah, it's very scripted. This script, it's
Yeah.
very scripted, and it's been scripted. I think in the case, the way I was looking at it, that I think a lot of it got scripted in childhood and the world that I grew up in, the world I knew, and the world that I was formed by.
Right, right. And this is in many cases, I've talked about it as it feels like a past life. Some of these scripts feel so old and repetitive, like it feels like thousands of years I've been doing the same script with different characters.
Right. Yeah, that's the truth. You could do the same script, or maybe not exactly the same. I think it's always a little different, but a similar script with many characters in one's lifetime, with
Right,
many other people, in other words.
right.
Um, and the other thing I think is that we draw people into our script unconsciously, do that.
Mhm.
That they, and I feel being unconsciously drawn into other people's scripts.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we went to a quote that that when we found we really liked it because this is what Jay Garfield has said about, very similar to what you're talking about. And we edited it. So we have two versions of this quote.
Right.
This is his original quote. I'll start with that. To see oneself as a character in a play with no special protagonists, being performed and written on the fly by a vast improv collective.
So I think that's the freer version of this play.
Yes.
This play is not caught in stuckness. It's the opposite, improv. People are able to, on the fly, improv
Right,
and adapting the play.
right, right. And there's
Scripts.
no, yeah, adapting the script, and there's no special protagonist. I mean, in the sense that really breaks down this sense of a self of I am this or I am that, or this one is better or this one is worse. There's a way that again, kind of evens things out a little bit.
Yeah, and with no special protagonist, I think it's another way of saying anatta, that
Hmm.
there isn't a kind of self at the center of this
Right,
play,
right.
right?
That's
Um,
what I am, is
right,
anatta.
right. And so that one sentence actually says a tremendous amount,
Yeah.
um, actually.
So here's the rewrite, Nelly. Read the rewrite of yours, of what it felt like.
I started with the same words as Jay Garfield. To see oneself as a character in a play. I might drop with no special protagonist, but I haven't gotten there yet. But this is the part I rewrote. It's hot off the press. A character in a play stuck in repetitive scripts that began a long time ago, and we are so absorbed in them that they mimic as the only reality.
Yeah. And there's the new addition, is that only reality that seems so real when we're in it. Like you can't even imagine there's another world because that's the world that's right at the time. You're saying those words in that script.
Right. And I feel like I'm now kind of you use the word the world a lot, and I know Buddhism uses the world a lot, but I feel like I've just finally really gotten it. I mean, deeply internally, not cognitively. I got it cognitively for a while. But you know, this, when it's the only reality, this is the world. This is the world. This is the only, you know, like this is our world.
Right. I mean, worlds, and we keep using this, kind of like a round globe, like, that this shape of, it's contained. This is this is what's right. This is what's real. That there's a sense in a world that you feel it, you think it, you're acting in it. There's all these kind of, let's say, ways we expand into a world. It's not just this flat thinking about something, or even just the lines of the script. It's that you embody them.
Yeah, and it's a sense of safety, as you said.
Hmm.
So it's not just stuckness, it's also safety and having family, people, the glue, relational glue in our life. But sometimes glue can get a little too whatever.
Sticky.
Exactly. But we also need these. We need some scripts, and we need some
Mhm.
worlds that we inhabit with people that
Right.
hopefully we care about and they care about us.
Right. I mean, that have ethical values, that have values that we agree to. These are not things that we're asking ourselves to give up in this kind of question of how do we become freer of scripts that cause harm, that cause us a lot of dukkha, pain, suffering, vulnerability. Because that's part of the topic is we'd like to talk about is the freedom from the scripts we get trapped into. How do we go about that?
So we were gonna, since we have, I get to talk tomorrow. Linda and I traded. She's gonna teach on Wednesday. We have time to go more deeply into it. So we were just going to go into one aspect that really caught our attention. Um, and maybe we should just do the simple thing of dancing. Maybe we should
Yeah.
just stick with dancing. Because when we become the heading is when we become absorbed in other things that demand our full attention, and dancing demands our full cognitive and our body is completely, we're dancing with the body. So when we're there, I mean, we're out of the script because we
Yeah.
can't do anything but
Right.
what we're supposed to do when we're dancing.
Well, maybe, like what we're trying to say is dancing is a parallel to meditation because dancing, as you can get in these absorbed states. And I do line dancing, which is kind of a new fad here in Southern California for me. But it's actually another script. I have to go in and learn these other patterns, these other scripts. And when you're learning something else, you can't be thinking about the way you used to do it. And because it's so new, a lot of that doesn't seem to be coming into that new learning, that new script. And boy, that's fun. Boy, it's great to be free of those old scripts. It's actually really like uplifting, joyful, backflip kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm a square dancer and have been now for well, over 25 years, I think. And, and it's similar to line dancing, but different because the caller, there's by now I know hundreds of calls at the level I'm at after 25 years, but the caller can put them together in all different callers, all the same caller, put them away many, and then you go to different callers and they do it all these other. And so you would say totally attentive because you can't assume because you're doing one group of movements,
Right.
you have no idea what's going to follow. So you can't lose attention for even a second, or the whole thing falls apart. And not just you, but everybody else falls apart with you. So,
But there's the parallel, right, Nelly? I mean, it's this kind of improv to be in this improv freer kind of collective with others. Paying attention is so important. If you lose the cues, you mess up. Sometimes it's just a small mess up, but other times it can really, excuse me, take us down a road that we don't want to travel again.
Right. But just to come back to our main point, which is that really being absorbed feels really good because it takes us off all those other scripts.
Yeah.
We get a vacation from them.
Right. And we get that in meditation when we get absorbed on more delightful things. Not so much on the other stuff, but when we get absorbed, it really does feel like a vacation from ourselves
And our scripts.
and our scripts.
Okay, so let's meditate.
My turn for the bells.